Hello, Irishwood Music Optimistic here, and today I'm going to be talking about the worst albums of 2025, in my opinion. Except no, I'm not, because this video is completely just a Trojan horse. So, if my video setup / audio, everything seems off balance or whatever, I'm in my new place, my new apartment. It's the reason why videos have pretty much slowed to a halt. There's also a billion other reasons why videos have slowed to a halt, and I will get into that in this video, which is technically not clickbait, because I will be flashing albums in the corner or on the screen that I did not particularly care for, as I talk about different things that were the worst things to happen to me this year. Actually, because I don't feel like editing, here are the albums that I rated really lowly, covering this one up on the top because it is literally just cropped porn. It's not even an album. I don't know why it's on the site. It is Brain Rot Boys' Mlem Sounds. It is the only thing that I gave a 0. The rest of it I gave like 1s, 2s, and 3s. I genuinely did not have enough bad stuff to talk about this year, so that's why I'm doing this instead. Because, yeah, 2025 was not a very good year for me. For a good myriad of reasons, and this is not going to be a ranked list, because that would be legitimately fucking impossible to do. This is just going to be in mostly chronological order, but mostly order of which I remember them right now as I'm talking, because I did not organize this video, like, at all. So, yeah, let's go. Start of the year. We actually have to go back a little bit further into the end of 2024, and where an affair started with my ex, where she got back into contact with one of her old partners, and they started talking or whatever, and she, for months, tried gaslighting me that they were just friends, there was nothing else to it. Until I literally went onto your fucking phone. Sorry, this is getting too mean. Went onto her phone and then found nudes and everything that she had sent to him and all this other stuff. So, yeah, you'd been gaslighting, sorry, she had been gaslighting me for literal months up to this point. And I think this was like January or February where I finally did that, and then she stopped pretending like this wasn't happening, because up to that point it was just constantly trying to gaslight me to tell me that no, this is not as serious as you think it is, nothing is going on, you're crazy. She literally said she literally did the stereotype gaslight line of "you're crazy." Eventually she stopped pretending that nothing was happening, and, it didn't make the end easier, it just made the end actually happen, because honestly, I don't know how long she was planning on just letting it go on like that, because it was still going on up until the point that I made it clear, hey, I know, I am well fucking aware. Oh, sorry, Mike, I'm not used to having it right here. It's not going to be right here in the future, I don't think, because this is a weird fucking placement of it. I just don't know what to do with it right now. So yeah, a 3-year-long relationship that I had since I got out of residential placement and learned how to fucking be a human being ended. My life story is weird. You don't have to know what the getting out of placement and everything else means. If you don't know, you don't know. And to be fair, the only person who knew my life story was that person, because she's the only one who I've ever told. Okay, so I don't remember the exact month it was, but it was like March or April. Might have even been like June. But for the most part, I started getting more and more online as a coping mechanism, because she was essentially the only person in my life. She kept me from talking to other people, including my current best friend. She kept me from like branching out and whatever, because she was always generally worried that I would be cheating on her, or I would be just not giving her my full undivided attention. Which, to be fair, I'm an introvert. I'm very much an introvert anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me, because there was really only one person that I wanted to be friends with, who is my current best friend now. And after I became friends with her, again, I haven't really tried becoming friends with anyone else, and anyone who's tried becoming friends with me in real life, that is, because I'll get into internet stuff in a minute. I've pretty much brushed off, told them to fuck off, because I genuinely do not care. But yeah, I started getting more and more online, more chronically online, to the point that it was just, yeah, I'm desperate to find anything social, a social circle I can be part of, music groups, things that I can talk about shit with people with, because I had my music channel, like this channel that you're watching this video on right now. The main obvious difference between this and talking to people is I'm not talking to people while doing this. I'm being an insane person and speaking in my empty fucking apartment where it's literally just me. So I was desperate for any sort of outside stimuli from another fucking human being. And that is when I found Album of the Year. Now, to be fair, I had been on the site since 2022. I had been uploading my reviews and stuff since 2022. I didn't find Album of the Year just this year. But I found that there were different communities within Album of the Year. I was completely unaware that there were different Discord servers and record labels that had spawned from the website, but apparently there were just a whole fucking ocean of people out there that were looking for desperate attention like I was. And one of the people that I came across was Ace of Thorns. Known at the time as Ace of Spades or Azalea or Alex or whatever their name is at this point. And I kind of hyperfixated on them because they had a good amount of traction on their music and seemed to have a wide amount of reverence in the community. And I not only craved that, but I really, really just wanted attention from anyone bigger, despite not really being like massive fans, even at the point that I was fucking harassing Ace of Thorns. I hadn't listened to any of her fucking music. I have now. I familiarized myself with a few of her works now. You know, given that I would eventually become friends with her and have a lot of other stuff happen because of that friendship, but we're not there yet. So pretty much I barged my way into being friends with her. I don't know how I did it, but eventually I got into her record label, which was just a Discord server, just like all these Album of the Year record labels are, where you just go into a Discord server and then anything that you release is going to be under the record label. But there's no like royalty splits, no benefits in marketing, no things that a record label actually does. So it's pretty much just a cosplaying artist, which is cool. Most of the users on Album of the Years and most of the people doing these record labels are literally children. So it's fine. I don't take too much problem with it. The main reason I was there, though, given my lack of speed and, you know, need to create something at all times, I was mainly there because I want the attention. I want to talk to people. I want to be in a community. And it's not like there were only just fucking children here. Let me just make that perfectly fucking clear. Ace was at 18 or 19. And then I met some other 18 plus people there. And for the most part, I would tend to stay away from the minors, because that's fucking weird. I'm not going to have a deep conversation about my feelings with a 13-year-old. Sometime around all of this happening, Ace of Thorns ruined her perception, her public image. I don't remember the exact date or what month it was or really anything. I just remember it was towards the first half of the year that this happened, where she, how do I put this? Outed herself for having had weird conversations with a 13-year-old. Now, this is stuff that's pretty hard to prove, considering it's just her word of mouth, no word of statement from the victim, no word of anything. But because it's micro celebrity drama, literally it doesn't fucking matter, has no impact on anything. And any sort of retribution that could come from it pretty much came when she came out about it. And then everyone backed off from her. Pretty much her record label dissolved immediately, and the main offshoot that came from it was Isolation Records, a thing that I joined. I became friends with a good few people in there, and I eventually made my own Discord server offshoot. Not a record label, just a server for friends that I had met in Isolation Records and an Ace of Thorns server. And pretty much, it was cool. It was great. However, not long after making this server, a really fucking weird thing happened where in real life, where I was working my real life job, I did pizza delivery. I don't do it at the time anymore. I do different delivery. That also sucks, but I get paid slightly more every now and then. So, yeah, while I was doing that, I got fucking robbed at gunpoint. Yeah, when I was just delivering to, a house, an apartment complex, a dude walked out from a corner, of the dark, like, there were no lights on in this specific building, which should have been a red fucking flag, but because it's my job to deliver the food, in the bad part of town anyway, because that's where I was living. I'm technically in the good part of town now. Shout out, shout out racial inequality. So I walked up to this apartment complex, and a dude just walked around the corner, pulling a gun out of his fucking pants, and yeah, pretty much came up, told me to go into the darkness of the stairwell, and then just told me to give him my tip bag, because I guess he was under the assumption that we delivery drivers carry our tip money on us all day. We didn't, we never did, because stuff like this could happen. But yeah, dude just came out of the side of the building, held a gun up to my back, and then begged for money. And all I could give him was $20, because that is literally what the company has us keep with us, in case something like this were to happen. And also for change, for customers paying in cash. Anywho, that all being said, that was kind of a lot. It wasn't like the biggest, most traumatic experience of my life, especially because it was more weird than anything. The dude literally was apologetic the entire time and even hugged me when it was done. So it felt more like he was sorry he had to do it, more than he hates me and he wants to do this because he hates me. So that was weird. I talked about it on my Discord server. I remember that this happened probably like near the middle of the year after the Ace of Thorns stuff, because I talked about it specifically on my Discord server, which eventually dissolved into nothing. Not because I came out for talking to a 13-year-old or anything, but because drama with the Isolation Discord server. I guess this is turning into just a video about micro internet drama that I've been through this year. But anywho, so I was a pretty important person in Isolation Records. Not to brag or anything, but I was one of the owners, as in, the owner of the server, seemed to like me and was cool with me, and then her and one of her friends also just agreed to have me be part of it or whatever. Eventually, I did become a slightly important person in it, and because of my friendship with Ace at the time, Ace of Thorns, because I was still talking to them, because we had talked about what had happened, clarified things up. They are not a groomer. Their atrocities are really not even that bad. To be clear for you illiterate fucks, this is not me saying that what they did is okay. There's a difference. There is a difference. Just because I like pancakes does not mean I hate waffles, you stupid bitch. But hey, when you're confessing to a crime on a website, that is predominantly, taken over by children who have yet to finish school and have very minimal literacy skills, they're just gonna take whatever and run with it. I literally, for months afterwards, would see people talking about how Ace of Thorns is a literal child rapist, which is way fucking off from what happened. Making weird comments to your sibling's 13-year-old brother is different than raping a baby. They are not at all the same, and it really annoyed me that people were trying to say that Ace of Thorns was this thing that was way worse than anything they had done. So I was trying to, give them advice from the side, help them try and repatch things, figure out what to do going forward. But it got out that I was still friends with them, that I hadn't thrown them completely under the bus, and so I was ostracized. Not just ostracized, sorry. Voted out of Isolation Records. And by voted, I mean the main owner of Isolation Records apparently conspired with a bunch of other people in Isolation Records to hold a vote to kick me out of the server. So after this vote that they all unanimously did, where, everybody said, I'm not allowed here anymore, I was obviously kicked from the server. Obviously, I left the server before the vote actually ended because I could recognize, hey, this is fucking stupid. I'm out of here. So yeah, I went over to my server, tried sending out a message to tell people if they want to talk about it, they can. But by the time I went over to my server to do that, pretty much everybody had left. Like, by the time this thing was done, we were down to like maybe less than 10 people. One of them being Ace of Thorns, of course, who I kicked from the fucking server because they just cut away most of the friends that I had worked hard to make in the past several months. So at this point in the story, I am basically back to square one. No friends, no connections, no nothing. Obviously, I have the, like, 2 friends that I have in real life. One, because I'm really fucking pissed at the other one right now. But just back to square one, back to nothing. And eventually, the owner of Isolation Records went to the fucking psych ward because the stress of this situation, as well as a lot of other things, and feeling the need to constantly live up to fucking teenagers online's opinions and social expectations, just got to them. So they had a mental break and had to go away for a bit. It's hard to express because they were kind of one of my closer friends. I did miss them, and that's why eventually we did rekindle things and we are friends now. But really, hearing the story, there's no reason why I should have ever agreed to get back in contact with them and talk again. Because still, I was not welcomed back into Isolation Records. I'm not asked to go back because genuinely, I do not care to be in a space where we're just gonna plot behind other people's backs to remove them from a community instead of talking to them about issues that we have. Yeah, I'd prefer to not be part of that stupid fucking shit again. This entire situation was a lot, very convoluted, not exactly the best, but fucking whatever. And then on top of all this, in the server of one of my closest friends that I met via Discord, who was the co-owner of Isolation Records along with me and the other person who is the main owner, I'm not using names because I one, didn't ask them to use names, and 2, it's not my business to put their business or put them online. I very much have an anti-putting people online policy. Even when I've been in relationships in the past, I refuse to post people on social media. I'm not putting you online. You can do that yourself. I'm not doing that. But anywho, in the server of this friend, I met this one person. They seemed pretty cool. They're pretty eccentric, into piss. They're a very kinky, hypersexual person that pretty much anytime they pop into a VC, they're talking about fucking or something, like getting pissed on, whatever, that they're doing it with their boyfriend, their rich boyfriend in New York and blah, blah, blah. So I became close friends with this person because, according to the person that I was friends with, this girl was trustworthy. They had literally been friends and in communication for like 3 years up to that point. So I'm like, okay, not a big deal. It turns out they just weren't them. Like, it turns out that this person that my friend had been in contact with for years was just faking their identity for several years. And the cracks only started to slip when this person started to form like a hyperfixation on me. Asking me for sexual content a lot, whether it be fucking me doing like a sexy ASMR voice, which I do sometimes. I think it's kind of funny. Or just constantly begging to see my fucking... Obviously I didn't show, but you know, they kept asking. Turns out this person just wasn't that person. They were that person. It's just that the fucking photos and the whole life story that they had made for themselves were stolen. Not the life story, that was just completely made up, but the fucking photos they were using were stolen off Twitter, and a big crack started to form whenever they showed a picture of their boyfriend, whose face was very smooth, very glossy. One of our friends did a reverse image search or AI image checker thing, and what do you know? Their face was deep faked, combined with some other fucking person's, and just face morphed into something else. So yeah, this wasn't my first experience online, but it was still odd. I still kind of miss that person every now and then, because it was nice to have someone who's not just a fucking doomer, who's not just a depressive fucking loser on Discord all the time. Having this one person who was genuinely kind of an escape from that and kind of a little drop of rainbow in this side, this fucking void of black, having that be removed kind of sucks, because I do genuinely miss their energy and such, and if they could fake being a cool person for as long as they had, they could have just been a cool person, but whatever, I guess, not a big deal. Ugh. As far as I can remember, because I've been recording for like half an hour at this point, and my brain is kind of mushed from recounting all this, those are really the main bad things that happened. I got fucking cheated on. I got robbed at gunpoint. I had a lot of people abandon me for the billionth fucking time in my life. I met a friend that I thought would be really cool, and then it turned out they were just not that person at all. So what has been happening to me lately? Well, for almost a year, not almost a year, like several months, like a few months after my ex and I split, I started hyperfixating on who is my best friend currently, and I don't want to, primarily because they do not feel anything for me. They do not care about me in the way that I care about them, and that's fine. But it still hurts to the only person that I care about, and the only person whose approval I want, and the only person whose affection that I want just does not care. I want to not feel anything for them like that. Like, yeah, I want to still be friends with them. They're still cool, mostly, but I don't want to feel the way that I do about them, because it's never going to be reciprocated, and it would never work anyway. Is that second one kind of cope? Maybe, but who cares? Things aren't all bad. I am in a new apartment, as you can see. Let me just break the fourth fucking wall. I have a cat now. He's pretty cool. He's pretty much my main reason for living. If the camera would focus, which I guess it fucking won't. There we go. There's my cat. I love him so much. He is the only reason why I am not dead currently. I generally do like this apartment a lot more than the other one. It generally is in a safer area. The only issues are it is actually more expensive, which is kind of to be expected, considering fucking slumlords and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. It's probably not even focused anymore, so I guess I'm just going to end the video. Hopefully 2026 is better. We will see. That's all I have to say. Bye.